Tonight, thank you.
This was a trial for my biological sister.
So, hearing the guilty verdict for the second time, can you tell us about the emotions you're feeling right now?
Yeah, I was a little nervous. I thought that we had overwhelming evidence in the first trial, and I was shocked when he won the appeal. I believe this judge was very fair, but very firm and stern, and I just think that I don't see how there could be enough evidence for him to be granted another appeal. I mean,
knowing that the prosecution had a ton of evidence, they weren't allowed to admit the second time. How frustrating was that, knowing that that couldn't be admitted?
Oh, it's terribly frustrating. Some of the most physical, some of the best physical evidence we had, and some of the best evidence we had, period, was muted. And saying that again, because it was, I'm hoping that this was the last trial. I'm hoping that I'm sure that he will appeal it, and we have our judicial system, and that allows for him to do that. But we also just had our second guilty verdict, and there comes a point in time when, I hope he's man enough to, admit what he's done. I may never hear that. Take responsibility for his actions. He did what he did. Nobody forced him to do it, and he has to pay the price for taking someone else's life. No one has that right, and my sister didn't get an appeal. He got an appeal. He got a second trial, and he got a second guilty verdict.
Knowing that he could have possibly walked free today, what kind of emotions did that make you and the rest of the family feel?
You always have to plan for that, but he was walking free for 11 years, and I knew that he was guilty. So for him to possibly walk free after a trial would just have been more of what I'd already been through and my family had already been through for years.
Christina earlier told us that the family is finally kind of back together again, and that they're trying to put this behind them. Would you agree with that?
I would say that we're trying to move forward. I don't think you ever put anything like this behind you. You can't put it behind you, and there's a gamut of legal maneuvering that can take place in the future that we could be subject to. But the bottom line to me is, the fact of the matter is my sister was murdered. Michael Foster is responsible. He knows he's guilty, and now hopefully, the rest of the world does, and he'll be man enough to accept. I'm sure he would never admit it while he's got an appeal, still in the works, but. Yeah, I still think that even with the limited evidence or the loss of evidence, I still think that it still was overwhelming evidence that he committed the crime.